It has everything up to Nez. It has every encounter. Hi, chat. No, this is a perfect time for chat to be here. I'm literally just standing here. Can I link it? Yeah, let's mess around with this. We might need to introduce more categories as we go on, but we'll start with this. Do they do... Okay, so it doesn't look like they do the revamped versions. For the purposes of VoG and King's Fall, I am going to do their D2 versions as opposed to D1 versions. Let's start. Waking Ruins. This is the opening encounter to Vault of Glass. It's nothing special. I wouldn't even call this an encounter, honestly. In fact, I might make a new tier for like openings that are like, that I don't feel are even worthy of being called encounters. It gives a chest. Does it give a pinnacle chest? No, then I'm not gonna count it. It gives a secret chest. I'm not even really gonna call it. Fine, then I'll put it there. Templar Well is... I'm just gonna do like some really, really fast ones just to get some stuff on the board. Templar Well is just... You're just kind of sitting there killing ads. Although the new version is definitely a little bit better. I'd say it's an average encounter, B or C. Templar is not the worst encounter. I don't mind doing it, but it's over really darn quick. But it's pretty satisfying when you do it. Labyrinth was a novelty when it started, like when you didn't really know it. But then after that, this kind of turned into just trolling. And for me, it's more annoying than fun because people troll and mess up, and it just... is annoying. Jumping puzzle, I'm putting this in opening or not really an encounter. This is not an encounter. Glass Throne, I don't know. The new version's definitely fun. I definitely like the rotating back and forth. Atheon nowadays, I kind of want to go A. You know, it's definitely not among the best of the best, but like it's a pretty solid encounter. I have fun running it. Not a ton of room for error, so you do need to be on your game a little bit. I think A is fine.
This is where I would have a Manscaped tier list if it weren't for the fact that everything's already S tier. This video is sponsored by Manscaped. For those of you who prefer, or perhaps forced to endure, a sleeker look on your noggin, good news. The Dome Shaver Pro is here to make your head shaving experience much simpler. It's got the same tech that you can expect from a Manscaped razor. It's got skin-safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts. It's waterproof, so you can use it in the shower, and cleaning is easy. But it's also got some of its own unique tech, like a high-performance 9,500 RPM motor and 90 minutes of battery life. It even supports wireless charging. I'd use it myself to show you, but I've been blessed with a full head of hair, and I'm not about to ruin the one good physical thing that I have going for me. I like you, Manscaped, but not that much. And when you're all done shaving your noggin, use the Dome Soother Lotion to top it all off and keep your head nice and hydrated. Remember, folks, hydrate. So if you want to keep your head as smooth as your balls, head on over to manscaped.com and use code Datto to get 20% off and free international shipping. That's manscaped.com, code Datto, 20% off, free international shipping. How many more times do I have to say it? Just the 2 times. Thank you very much to Manscaped for sponsoring this degenerate content.
Enter the Abyss, I don't mind. I think it was kind of cool for the time. This is entering Crota's lair. I think it was neat for the time, and you can go relatively fast on it. There's not too much waiting. There's a little bit of trolling you can do too, and you know, like making fun of each other and all that kind of stuff, or trying to push each other into holes. But it's not the worst to complete if, you know, not everybody makes it to the end. Cross the bridge. I'm not the biggest fan of this encounter. Even the newer updated version, I'm not too crazy about this encounter. There's a lot of flaw. This is probably one of the most flawed encounters in D1 or even D2 history. There's like a lot of holes in the encounter, a lot of plot holes. Ear Ute, I almost want to say cringe. This is like, it's such a nothing encounter. It's like, you kill some ads, you kill a streaker, you kill a couple more ads, the boss dies in half a second. Like, this is not great. Crota, do I like Crota more or Atheon more? I think Crota, I'm gonna go B, but I think Crota really depends on how you feel. I feel like this, like for some people this is an S, and for some people it's cringe. I'm kind of in the middle, you know, it's not really like that exciting. If you're the sword person, it's fun. But if you're not the sword person, then it's really nothing too special. Yeah, I'm gonna go B with it. I could go B. I could also, I don't think I'd put it on the same level as as these, I think I definitely want to go B. Hall of Souls, as far as opening encounters go, is not too bad. I think it could go B. I think it's kind of a neat one, although it does run a little bit long, and I think some people might be turned off about that. I think I'm okay with B. Crux and Portico, this is not really an encounter. Basilica, the totems. The D2 version is definitely improved. I think this can go B. Still goes by pretty quick. It's a slightly, I don't know, maybe I might put it C. I don't know, in between B and C. Here, well, I'll make a new category. I'll make a new category. We'll go B minus. We go B minus there. And I'm gonna readjust the colors, otherwise I will get annoyed. War Priest. How does go B minus? Do I like War Priest more? Or do I like Crota more? I think I probably like Crota more. I don't know. War Priest doesn't really do a whole lot for me because he just kind of falls over. And the new mechanic is like neat for D2. Like it's a good update, but it also like doesn't feel like it does a whole lot for me. Yeah, I'm keeping it there. My rating on the essence of an encounter or the encounter in practice. I think it's kind of like a little bit of both. Like how much I enjoy it and also like the mechanics of it, but generally if an encounter has good mechanics, I'm probably gonna enjoy it. Golgroth is S tier. I believe Golgroth is like basically one of the best encounters in the entire franchise. I really like this. I think I like it more in D1 just because D1 itself is a more difficult experience than D2, but I still find it really fun, the taunting mechanic, especially like right now where like people are doing tractor cannon. Like one of the most satisfying feelings is shooting his back, getting the gaze, flying over, taunting, having him stomp the ground, and then push you into position. Like, that is so satisfying to pull off as the taunter. So yeah, Golgroth, IMO, one of the best encounters in the franchise. Not really an encounter, the dick wall. I mean, it's a neat novelty, but I still don't really feel like calling it an encounter. But I think it's very novel. Threshold, Daughter's encounter. Kind of like another Ear Ute type situation, just a little bit. I'd call it better than Ear Ute for sure, because like there's definitely a lot of urgency. I don't know. I could see this also being B minus. Do I like Cross? No, I like this more than Cross the Bridge for sure. It's like I'm trying to think like which encounter would I rather do. I think B minus is fine. Would I rather do Crota or this? Yeah. Class 3, yeah. Templar, yeah. Yeah, okay. Oryx, I'm putting up A. A lot of stuff going on in Oryx. It could potentially be S for some people, but it's definitely towards the upper end for sure. I think Oryx is a pretty intense encounter. Again, at least in D1, it was very intense. The game was much harder back then. So I'd put it pretty squarely in A. I think some people would also advocate for S, but me, I'm going A. Opening encounter of Wrath of the Machine. I mean, I like it more than the average thing. I like throwing the balls. That's fun. Hitting this dude. Yeah, I don't really mind it. I think it's one of the better opening ones. Splicer's Den. I'm kind of mid on this as well. It's a lot of ads. Throwing the balls is neat, but more often than not, it frustrates me because like some people will whiff. I don't know. Would I rather do? I'd rather do Templar than this. And then go and see what the shook 'em up. Apex Zamboni. Definitely a novelty. Definitely a fun novelty. I'd put it in B. It's a neat encounter. It's not super hard or anything. I think some people would even say A. I'm going B personally because sometimes when people are potatoing on this encounter, it's so frustrating. A. Would I rather do this or Atheon or Oryx? I could go in between. All right, I'll go A. Server farm. This is just like running, unless they literally mean like doing the thing to open the middle, but like you're definitely not doing that. I'm just not really an encounter. Pre-access fight. I would say it's actually, I'm kind of putting it in C specifically for the shanks. If the shank section wasn't so long, this would be like a B or an A, but because the shank section is just needlessly long, I'm putting it in C. It's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of time. Like, just forget the shanks. Let's just get back to the mechanic. But Axis is an S tier encounter. This is probably the second best encounter in the franchise, at least off the top of my head. Axis is a primo encounter. Everyone is involved. Tons of mechanics, a lot of movement. I don't even know what can really be improved or changed on this encounter. Axis is a phenomenal fight. Phenomenal. Leviathan. I'm pretty low on Leviathan overall. Royal Pools is like a meme of an encounter. This thing is a meme. I don't really like it. I kind of want to go D. This encounter is complete nothing to me. it's just meaningless to me. I get no enjoyment out of this encounter whatsoever. I get nothing. I'm snoozing. Pleasure Gardens, I feel like on certain days I'm like, this is cringe, and then other days I'm like, this is an S tier encounter. It's a neat novelty. I think I'm gonna go A. It's a fun novelty just because of all like the yelling and like frantic movement and just like go over there, go over there. It's just like, it's a funny encounter. It's a funny encounter. There's a lot of memes, but it's also not too long if you mess up. But yeah, it definitely depends on your team. Definitely depends on your team. Gauntlet runs a little long for me, but I do think it is more enjoyable than not. It does run a smidge long. It also is like every single encounter in here is kind of a novelty. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between B and C, but I think I'll leave it at B. If this wasn't as long of an encounter, it'd probably go higher. Throne, my first instinct is A. I don't know, I like the randomness, I like the urgency. You know, some of the team is at least doing something. The other half of the team is, you know, somewhat holding it down. I like the plate movement. I like the call outs. There's at least some stuff going on. I don't know, sometimes I think it could be a B, but for now I think I'm going A. It's really weird that I rate all the Leviathan encounters this high, but like at the same time, I don't really want to run Leviathan anymore. I've run it so many times. I don't know, I think I could leave it in A. Reactor room, this is cringe. Cringe encounter for cringe. I'm sorry, I don't like it. When people troll in the reactor room, it is the most infuriating thing. It's so annoying. Like the best case scenario is that people don't troll and you're just doing some hopping. The first couple of times it's like funny, but then after that, when you're just trying to get through it and somebody's trolling, I'm just like, dude, please, bro. Delve deeper. Not really mechanic. The falling down thing is fun, I guess, but I'm not calling this mechanic or an encounter. I'm not really calling it an encounter. Break the barrier, I think is not too bad. It's a little time gated. It's a little time gated, but I don't actually think it's that bad. And in fact, I think Argos is kind of up there as well. I don't know. I don't really mind Argos. I think it's a pretty fun encounter. Good amount of movement. Cannons are fun to use. Yeah, I actually kind of like Argos. I kind of like it. I don't know if I'm going S, but like it's definitely up there for sure. I really like Argos. Statue Garden. As far as opening encounters go, this one's not the worst. I think it's pretty C-ish territory. Runs a little long. If somebody messes up though, it's kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't know. This wasn't doing a whole lot for me. Would I rather do like Break the Barrier? Would I rather do Gauntlet? Yeah. Repel the Assault is basically like Valkor Precursor. Yeah, I think I could go B. It's just like a less intense version of the final boss. That's it. And Valkor to me is S tier. I know I'm gonna have a lot of disagreement on Valkor depending on what you like or don't like about rating, but Valkor to me is an S tier encounter. Everybody's got to know what to do. Even like the ball juggling mechanic to knock him down is like pretty intense. Valkor IMO is an S tier encounter. 100%. 100%. It is an S tier encounter. Kali, I'm in the middle. Like this boss just falls over. And if you stick Anarchy on her, it's literally just shoot the ad for 30 seconds. I don't know. If there's actually like combat intensity to this, it would be something. And like the doors are funny. You control your friends with the doors and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's going C for me. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine encounter. It's short and sweet, but I don't know if it's going into the B tier for me personally. Shirochi is not too bad. I don't think it's too bad of an encounter at all. I think it's pretty squarely in B. I definitely think you can make arguments for A, but for me, it's B. You know, most of it is, you're just kind of walking through, killing ads and stuff, but like puzzle mechanic can be annoying depending on how you think of it, or fun. S tier farm. Yeah, if there was somewhere in between A and B, I think I'd probably put it there, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Moragath, I would put in between B and C. It's kind of a nothing encounter to me at this point because you could just one cycle it. It's not really that hard. The boss just kind of falls over, and the only reason you wipe here is just if people aren't paying attention. Not too much of an encounter for me. Vault, I'm also like B, C. I'm not super high on this. I think I like it more than Moragath. It does run a little bit long, and if somebody trolls here, oh my god, is it frustrating? But if you have a solid team that like is actually paying attention and can run fast, I don't think it's too bad. You guys think Vault is S? Really? Really? Music here is S. Well, I'm not ranking the encounters on music. Obviously, the music's very good. I don't think it's an S. If you want to make arguments for A, I think you can. For me, it's still kind of a B. But if there was something in between, I think it can go there. Riven's an S tier. It's a real shame that you can exploit this encounter. Obviously, I've given up all hope on Bungie ever fixing the whole teleporting thing. But even then, like, you don't even need to abuse joining allies to one-cycle this boss. And if this is done in the correct way, and if they actually, like, balance this encounter, again, this is another S-tier encounter in the game. It's such a good fight. It's such a fun fight. Heart of Riven, I think, depends on where you get in the move order. If you're like first to the heart and you just have to sit there killing ads, it's kind of a snooze fest. But when you can be on the team running it, I think it's so dope, actually. It's fun. I don't think it's S tier, but it's definitely up there. It's short, sweet, intense. People can't really mess up too much. But if you're on the outside team running, it's a lot of fun. It's a really enjoyable thing. All right, platforming section in Shattered Throne. The opening encounter in the platforming, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I'm not crazy about it. It's just like a lot of platforming. I don't know. Would I rather do Kali, Morgeth, War Priest than this? Yeah. I don't know if I'm putting it cringe. I think I'm putting it D. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. It really doesn't. Does not do a whole lot for me at all. Vorgeth, I think it's kind of a C. I don't know, I'm trying to think of these encounters like as they were relevant, as opposed to like what are things like now. But like Vorgeth at this point is kind of a meme. Like the whole dungeon itself is just kind of a meme. And I don't know, I kind of wish they would bolster it a little bit. Yeah, it is also tough to rank dungeons against raids, but dungeons do have some good encounters here and there. When it's relevant, the ads could actually kill you instead of doing 2% damage. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, it's pretty firmly C. I could even put it in D, honestly. Like, would I rather do War Priest or Vorgeth? I don't know. The only benefit about Vorgeth is that it's over in like a minute. Dulin Kardu right now is also just kind of cringe. I don't know. I'd go C as well. Dulin Kardu just falls over in 2 seconds. It's just, yeah, exactly. It just got completely power crept. It just got completely power crept out of the game. And so like right now, the whole dungeon is just kind of a meme. So if they buffed this whole place, if they actually made it relevant, I think a lot of these things would go higher. I think I'd definitely enjoy each one. But as they are right now, this is the highest I think I could do them. All right, we are getting to Scourge, the hollow map. I think this is pretty novel. I think it's pretty cool, like having like people switch in and out and like reading the map. It's a pretty neat novelty. I don't know if I'm going to like if Heart of Riv is an A, I don't know if I can put it in A. But if there's like in between A and B, I think this is pretty novel encounter. I think it's kind of neat. Oh man, the Sparrow section's got to be A. I think you could even make arguments for S. It was just like a cool surprise in the moment, and it's still pretty fun. I don't know if I'm putting it on the tier with Axis and Riven, but it's like very close. It's very close up there. A or S for sure, depending on how you feel about it, but it's up there. It's up there for sure. Insurrection Prime Part 1. This could be pretty short. I don't know, half the team's doing something, half the team is just killing ads. I think I'm going C. This encounter never really did a whole lot for me. This was just like a means to get to Insurrection Prime Part 2. And Insurrection Prime Part 2, I think I'm definitely going B at a minimum. Really liked the whole like switch around ACP, CAP, PAC, whatever you wanted to do. CAP is the correct version, by the way. I think I'm definitely going at least B. You can make arguments for A. Oh, it's pretty satisfying. I don't know, maybe I'll go A. Maybe I'll go A. I did like running Scourge. I did like running Scourge overall. I think we can go A. It's S. I don't know if I'm putting it on par with Riven. I don't think so. I'll give it an A. That's the highest I'm going. And even that is, it's probably more like a B+ to me. Hive Ritual. Cringe. So cringe encounter. Omega cringe, literally just killing ads for 8 minutes and walking into a circle. Yes, you can make it go faster by making sure you killed all the ads as fast as possible, but IMO, still very, very cringe encounter. Do not enjoy this encounter. One of the worst in the game. Kingdom of Sorrow is the platforming section. Sort of novel. The highest I'd go is C. The absolute highest, but I think I'm going D. I don't know. This didn't do a whole lot. My memories of this is just like people falling off or like not remembering what to do, or this did nothing for it. It was like a nothing. Yeah, you could even put it not really an encounter, but Galaron's Deception. I think I'm going B with Galaron's Deception. You know, if Hive Ritual and Kingdom of Sorrow weren't as annoying as they were, I think Crown of Sorrow would have been like a really, really strong overall raid, because Galaron, I think, is definitely an A tier encounter. The only reason Galaron was really ruined was because of the meta back then, which was just like auto reloading grenade spam with like stacking as many buffs and debuffs as you possibly could, and just like he just didn't do anything as a boss. So if he was a little more threatening and the meta wasn't so brain dead, you could make arguments that this was an S tier encounter. But otherwise, I think it's a really, really strong contender encounter. I actually really liked this encounter a lot. Again, I don't know if I'm going S tier. You could go high A tier. High A tier. Arena alone for part 1, part 2 is minimum A. This I'll give you B+. I don't know if I'm going A. I don't know. I think part of why I think I put it down here is because sometimes his shield would bug out and that would be annoying. But if it worked all the time, yeah, you know, it'd go high B. I guess I'm just kind of putting these in an order, in just like, you know, by like, there's not really an order to these. Like I could like put these in a certain order later. But yeah, final 2 encounters of Crown are really good. It's just marred by this opening, and it kind of marred by the meta back then. Rebalance and more tiers at the end. All right, we'll see. Evade the Consecrated Mind. I think if I put Galaron in B, this has to go C at the highest. This encounter didn't do a whole lot for me. It's a little neat, it moves quick, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. But do I enjoy it way more than Summon the Consecrated Mind? Yes, I do. Cringe tier. This is literally just killing ads. The encounter, not very exciting whatsoever. Again, when you have a combat-based experience and like basically no mechanics, the combat needs to be tight. And this is literally, you kill 8 ads every minute. Do not like. Defeat the Consecrated Mind. I don't know. It's like you're on Gambit team, you're on babysitting team. This encounter doesn't do a whole lot for me. I think I'm also going C. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. Half the team's doing one thing, half the team's doing another thing. They're completely disconnected from each other. It's like 2 miniature fights combined into one. But Conquer the Sanctified Mind, A tier IMO. A tier encounter. I am putting this up there. I actually quite enjoy Conquer the Sanctified Mind, but that is because I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the tether mechanic, and a lot of people who I believe complain about the tether mechanic try to rush it way too much, and as a result think it's buggy or broken, when in reality it's really not. Does it have some issues here and there? Yes. Is it 100% broken like a bunch of people say? No. Bunch of different ways to do this encounter, different strategies. I actually quite like this encounter. I actually quite like it. Pretty enjoyable. One of the shortest damage phases makes it feel weak. I don't feel like the damage phase is that short. If you're doing a 2 break, it's not that short, which is what most people are doing now because nobody saved Garden Armor. I'm putting it up there. I'm putting up A. You just complain about combat? Yeah, but like there's other things to do in the fight. And if you're not paying attention to like how much ground you've lost, if you're not playing Fortnite on here, you can get a little dicey, a little annoying. But it's also one that just, you know, it got power crept. I would love to see a lot of these raids get like updated for sure. Modern combat and all those kinds of things. I think people get mad at this encounter because how buggy it is / was. I don't agree that it's that buggy. Like there are some things, but again, like I think people are like, oh, the tether's broken, it's bugging out. Like when in reality, people are just going too fast with the tether. Like you're not giving it a second. Like give it a sec. Necropolis. If everybody knows what to do and you can kind of race through it, then it's fine. But more often than not, it's like somebody dies and they're the complete opposite side of the map, and it's a 45-second res timer, and it's a whole deal. It doesn't really do a whole lot for me. The highest I would go is C. It's probably a low C. For me. It does not do a whole lot. Tunnels of Despair, I can just kind of run by myself. I wouldn't even call this an encounter. It's just some running around. If anything, I would put it in even lower, but I'd call it not an encounter. Yeah, I don't know. It's just running around, Like, if you know the path, then it's just like you run like here, and then you come back, and then you run through here, and then you grab this thing, and then you come back, and you just run it, and that's whatever. Chamber of Suffering is like, in a group, obviously it's a meme. As a solo thing, I feel like this is like one of the first true tests of like doing solo dungeon stuff, and as a result, I think I'm going pretty high. I will at least do B. It's a good combat experience, I think. Yeah, obviously nowadays it's a bit like, it's just power crept, it's outclassed. But as far as like a solo experience goes, it's kind of up there. It's kind of up there. It's very satisfying to get this, like, if you're not really like a dungeon soloer or anything, this is a very satisfying solo when you get it. But in a group, it's just, it's whatever, you know, it's whatever. I'd be willing to go slightly higher B. I don't know if I'm going A. This section, the running around, I don't even want to call this an encounter. There's not even loot from it. Best case scenario is like you luck into the things that you're going to, because nobody remembers. Nobody remembers where the things are, so you just run in a circle and hope that you get them. I'm putting not really an encounter. Cradle of Damnation, again, in a group, just kind of like, just kind of a whatever thing. As a solo, it runs pretty long. It's not the most intense solo. It runs super long. I'm kind of in between C and B on this. Seems like you guys are too. I don't know. I like that it's like super quick loot. I'd go like medium high C. These all rated for solo. Yeah. I don't know. Should I rate the dungeons as solo, or should I rate them as a group? Because like, yeah, they don't hold the candle to most raids. Rate for solo, group. All right, a little torn. I feel like there's more solos. Group, because that's what is intended. I think there's more solos. Slightly more solos. If it's group, then like most of these are coming down a whole lot. It's just outclassed. We'll leave it as is for now. It's okay. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Phalanx Echo, more dungeon stuff. For some reason, I don't know what's going on with Prophecy, that it still holds up difficulty-wise. Like, I don't know what's going on in Prophecy where like things can still kill you. And I actually don't mind this encounter too much. It's over pretty quick, but it's like, it can still kind of kick your butt. You know what I mean? I'm going B. It's over fast enough that it's like, I don't really mind. I'm going B. It can still kind of kick your butt. I think it's still pretty good. Wastelands, not really an encounter. I don't get anything out of Wastelands either way. I'd probably put it D or cringe. It's just, you're just kind of killing time. Hexahedron. It's a little long. I think like visually, it's super cool, but it does ultimately end up being a lot of just like killing ads. It goes a smidge long for me. Easy F, wow. I don't think I'm going to F. I think I'm probably going C. I'm going like mid C. It's not doing a whole lot. It's not doing a whole lot for me. Dead Sea, I think, is pretty novel. And if we put the Sparrow section in A, I think this has to go firmly with it. Super novel. I don't know anybody who doesn't like... The only people who don't like this are the people who fall off and you have to wait 45 seconds for them. But pretty novel, pretty fun little thing. If you're good at this section, it's really fun. If you're bad at the section, you're probably putting it in cringe. Kel Echo. I think I'm going pretty high with Kel Echo. I think I'm also going A, you know? Still, it's definitely gotten power crept just because of how good we've gotten, not necessarily because, like, it fell behind that much. But I still really like the whole moving boss section. The mechanic section in the middle is, like, not too long that it's super annoying. Although it definitely can get annoying sometimes. But, yeah, I think Kel Echo still holds up. Yeah, I think Prophecy holds up very, very well, even in 2023. Surviving the Blizzard. We're going to Deepstone. I don't know if it's really an encounter. It's a neat novelty. Wow, you guys are saying cringe. I'm not super cringe about it, but it does feel kind of long sometimes. I don't know. I'd go C, or like not really an encounter. It kind of plays like one. I don't know. I'd go C. It doesn't bother me that much. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of in the middle. It doesn't, like, it's just a means to getting to here. It doesn't really do a whole lot for me, you know? It's just kind of whatever. Security is also kind of whatever to me. Like, it's like 3 people doing the mechanic and everybody else just shooting stuff. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not really crazy about it. I think I'm also going C with security. The best part about security is that it's over quick. You know, a little bit of intensity. You got to pay attention a little bit. You got to make sure you're doing the right call outs, but it doesn't do a whole lot. Dueling the Fallen. These are very interesting names. Atrax, pretty novel encounter. Pretty novel. I'm going B or A. I'd be willing to go A. I think this is probably like one of the better parts. It's over pretty quick. The damage portion can be fun when like everybody nails it. Doing the one phase is pretty satisfying. During the time, during when it was brand new, it was very confusing because we've never really had like a super short burst damage type boss before. But it moves quick. You still gotta pay attention a little bit. There's still a little bit of intensity if you mess up. But you know, I think you get some points for novelty. But nowadays it's just like, yeah, it gets completely memed. If you couldn't meme it, I think it'd be even better. Spacewalk. I feel like a lot of people are just gonna say S for the music, but I'm not even calling it an encounter. It's not an encounter. It's not an encounter. People love it for the music. I get it. I totally get it, but it's platforming. That's all it is. It's just you're platforming. It's a transition space. There's no loot. You're just running. You're running. You know? Take away the music. What happens? It's not an encounter. It's not an encounter. If we had a transition space tier list, sure, I'll put it towards the top. How's that? Is that a consolation? It's just platforming. It's got good music. Here, you know what? We'll do a sub tier list of not really an encounter encounters. How's that? We'll do a sub tier list. Surviving the Descent. I don't mind this encounter that much. Yeah, it's just a lot of killing ads. If you get a roll, it's kind of fun. Maybe it runs like a smidge long, but like just as it's outstaying its welcome, that's pretty much when it's ending. I don't mind it. I know it's just like a lot of brainless killing ads, but it's done in a way where I don't really mind. Abomination, this is... This dude just kind of falls over. Like, even on the day one, this dude just fell over. It's just... Like, no threats. No threats in here. I mean, the geometry that the boss puts up is more threatening than the boss. You know? Like, this is... I'd C at the most. I'd even be willing to go D. But C is, like, the high. The only benefit is that it's over quick. It's over quick, and it has, like, one of the easiest challenges for free loot. Crane tier, D tier. Yeah, I don't know. This is just I'd go D. I'd go D. This is just... It's kind of a whatever... It's whatever fight. That like when the challenge becomes the like normal way to do it, I don't know. I feel like there's something a little off there. Rusted Gangplank. It's not an encounter. This is not. There's fighting. There's a thing to do. I don't know if you're calling it an encounter. The opening. You're opening the door to the dungeon. There's no loot. There's no loot. Not an encounter. Not an encounter. Ogre boss. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. A little bit of urgency running back and forth. I don't know, it's either very low B or like mid to high C. No, I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B. I like the running back and forth. It doesn't run too long if you know what you're doing. I like the going back and forth. It's active. It's active. I like fights that keep you active. Bomb racing. I mean, this has gotta be A. Really satisfying. This is fun. I like it. Just more Sparrow stuff. Like people like Sparrow stuff. You know, if this is here, this has to go here. It is technically not an encounter. I understand. This is no, I think don't you get loot from a Blaze Glory? I forget. I mean, you definitely know from Dead Sea. And I know there's a secret chest here. There's not really anything here. I mean, there's like the secret chest at the end as well. And there is a secret chest in here too. But they're technically not encounters, but people are willing to make an exception. And I like it, so. Shield Shutdown. The thing about Shield Shutdown is that the first time through, it was so neat and novel. And it's like such a fun idea, but having like after you run it that many times, it's just such a slow thing and the novelty wears off. And running it now, like, yeah, I feel like it's like D to cringe. I don't enjoy running this now. First time, no, I don't think first time was cring. I think first time was very novel. And then every time after that, it's just slow. It's just slow, man. First time was very cringe. I disagree. First time was neat. Every other time, it's just a bit too slow. And final boss, I don't know. I think I'd be willing to go low B. Low B, high C. I'd go B. I don't know. It doesn't really take too long. It doesn't take too long to do. It's definitely not an A tier. It's not an A. I don't think it goes down. I'd go B. I'd go B. Music's awesome, right? Love the music. We're not rating it on music. I know. It has no placement in the tier list rankings, but music's awesome. Like one of the best tracks. It's gotta be one of the best tracks. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Disciples Bog. I think a lot of people are gonna say cringe because it's too long. I swear, I swear I'm like one of the only people who likes preservation because I know I can just turn my brain off for like 20 minutes and talk with people. But that's the only reason why I like it. If I do it offline, then yeah, it's a bit long. I don't know if I'm going full cringe. I'd probably go D, but it's also not an encounter. Acquisition. It's okay. It's a okay thing. For now, I'm doing C. A lot of it's just like killing ads and then you kill a champion. There's a little bit of running around, a little bit of urgency. I could go B. I could go low B. Is that okay? I go low. That's the highest I'll give you is low B. This is a lot of killing ads. A lot of killing ads. Collection. Collection is a collection of mechanics. It's just like 2 people do this, and then 2 people do that, and then 2 people do this. Not a lot of cohesion. At least everyone's doing something. I'd also go B, because like I don't really mind it as an encounter. The DPS phase is kind of fun with like moving back and forth. And it's also funny when like people try to use their super as you're transitioning plates and they mess up and their damage is immune. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't go too much higher. I usually get stuck on like on stunning the boss, which is like not very exciting at all. But I don't mind the damage portion. And it's a long enough fight that like, again, right as it starts to outstay its welcome, it's over. Exhibition, A tier. IMO. This is one of very few purely combat-based experiences that is like actually really good. I would give you very high A or low S. Very high A or low S. But this does not go lower than A. IMO. One of the best like purely combat experiences in the game, for sure. The very best ad clearing character. Yeah, because there's like trading and like there's still call outs to make and good amount of slaying. There's still danger. There's still threats, you know? It's still threatening. You can still mess it up. And then we have domination, which is Rolk. The first part of Rolk is IMO quite boring. Like actually getting to Rolk is like not great. The combat's weak. The call outs are like not that complex. And it's annoying when like people mess up that part of the encounter. Rolk himself, like when you actually get to damage, like that part is really fun. But oh my god, getting to the damage phase, even when you're up on the plate, takes a long time. So like when you actually get to the damage part, that is like top tier. Like it's fun. But getting to that part in the fight is just... It takes too long. I think I would go B. I think that's the highest I'm going. Like, if I could split this into, like, you know, if I could cut it, like, right here. And, like, all this part is in, like, C, and then this part is in S, that's what I would do. Because the pure damage part is super fun. Getting to the damage part, not that fun. That's it. That's what I gotta say. If I could split it, like, right here, I'd take this chunk, it would go up here. And then this chunk would probably go down here. Not even base because people still use wells. Yeah. If he could kick a Well of Radiance sword out of the ground and yeet it off the platform, that'd be pog. But you can literally just still stand there and just eat kicks, which kind of sucks. Low B. These aren't organized right now. None of these are organized. So don't like the placement in here. Like is not anything yet. Navigate the Mindscape. It's not an encounter. It's slow either way. Nightmare of Galaron. I'm so torn on Duality because the combat experience is neat, but that's kind of all I enjoy about Duality. So combat-wise, it's pretty satisfying. This fight runs a smidge long. I think I have to go C. I think I'm going C. I don't know. I'm not so torn about Duality. That means the dungeon serves its purpose. Cringe. Yeah, I really like the combat difficulty, but like, it's just like unlock the vault. It's just like more, it's more running and getting a thing. Again, the combat's pretty fun. but the mechanic itself is like, it's kind of a slog. Keitel, I'd be willing to go a little bit higher, just because you actually have that intensity to it. I'd probably go B, because like if you mess up, like you better roll it back. You better run it back. So I like that there's that intensity to Keitel. But if you don't mess it up, you're paying attention, you can do the one cycle, it's over before you know it. So I'm gonna go B. But yeah, these two, I don't know. If the combat wasn't that fun, then these would be probably a bit lower. Oh boy, Spire. Arctrician. Like, it doesn't give you loot, but I do want to classify it as an encounter. But I don't know, we'll go there for now. It's like, it teaches you mechanics. So I kind of want to put it in the list, even though it doesn't give you loot. And I'll go C, because you can do it really fast. Fun combat in here. Like, a lot of enemies everywhere. So if you want to slay out, you totally can. Kind of fun running around, but it's so quick that it's over before you know it. Spire Ascent. Kind of going D. I don't know. The only benefit to this fight is that it's short. It's short. You go around, you know, tapping. You don't have to like fight any of the enemies. You just go around, you know, shooting the panels, and that's really about it. It's not that exciting. I don't really want to rate it that high. I'm not crazy about this fight either. I don't feel like there's that much going on. I've already fought this boss. You know what I mean? I've already fought the boss. It goes by quick, so like that's okay. Decent amount of stuff to kill, but it's just like, it's just kind of there. It's just kind of there, dude. I don't know. This is low C, high D. I don't know. I'd put it there. But Persis, is it Persis or I thought it was Perseus? I don't know. This I'm putting a bit higher. It's a high B, potentially low A. It can be over quick. Like, you can do the mechanics so fast, but there's still intensity. Like, there's stuff chasing you. The boss is chasing you. Harpy's exploding on you. But if you can execute the mechanics in this encounter super fast, it's pretty. I'm going A. I'll go low A. I'm going low A. I actually really enjoy this fight. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. Better than Rolk. I would do this boss encounter. Like, if you ask me, like, hey, do you want to do Rolk right now, or do you want to do this dungeon boss right now? I would probably say this dungeon boss. I'd probably say this dungeon boss. Do something about it. You can't. Lol, it's my list. I'm not saying Rolk is not a good fight. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'd rather do the dungeon boss. I'd much rather do the dungeon boss. Okay, this whole thing is like, you're killing ads the whole time. One person does the mechanic here. Everybody else is killing ads. I'm not going full cringe, because like killing ads is like, you know, slaying out in here can be enjoyable, but like I might as well be in like an easier seasonal battleground thing. This is kind of the same. If you're doing the mechanic, it's fun. If you're not doing the mechanic, this is like, it's borderline cringe. If you're doing the mechanic, I'd even give you a low C if you're doing the mechanic. But on ad clear, it's cringe. I'll go right in the middle, D. Ad clear is just it's so boring here. Macrocosm, I'll give you B. I'll definitely give you B. I think some people might even argue A. Set pieces are really cool. You know, a little bit of moving around. Still a little bit threatening. I'd give you B. I'm not going up here. I'm not going up in A. I give you mid B. Even mid B. Nezarek. I don't even know, man. It's nice that it can be over, like, really. Like, you can one cycle this dude. This is a 2-minute round trip. 2-minute round trip encounter. Slaying ads is fun in this encounter. Running is kind of fun in the encounter. There's at least, like, something going on for people to do, even if it is, like, a lot of ad killing. I don't know. I think I'd probably go, like, C or B. But if this fight was, like, long, I don't know. Probably go lower. But running is somewhat enjoyable. And like one cycling it is like satisfying because you can just kind of get it over with. I like it. Do I like it better than Scission and Cataclysm? Probably, yeah. Do I like it that much more? I think this is the highest I could do. Not an encounter. I think that's the highest I could do. And even if you don't 2-cycle it, like it's not that long of an encounter. You're just kind of in and out. It doesn't drag. One of the main things that I don't mind about it. Am I gonna try soloing Nezarek? Probably not. I have other things that I'd like to do with my time. But yeah, I think this is the most I can do. I'm reorganizing each tier by A+, A-, or sorry, A+, A minus, and then here is gonna be B plus at the top, B in the middle, B minus at the bottom, etc., etc. All right, B. Let me do some quick stuff. Let me just do some really quick takes, and I'm kind of okay here. We can nitpick, but like towards the top is B plus, in the middle is kind of B, bottom is B minus. I think we're around. This is okay. This is okay. C. I'm kind of here. I'm kind of here-ish for now. I'm pretty locked in on the bottom. This one should also be down here, but I just don't have enough to like squeeze it in there. Like this should be down here too, and this, and like there should be a bunch more. There should be a bunch more in like the C minus tier, but I'm okay with this for now. I don't want to dwell too long on it. D tier. What's like the best D tier encounter? I do that. I'm okay with this. Cringe. What is the most hate? What is my most hated? It's like such a tough call between all of these. Def hates summon the most. I do not like summon. God, like they're all like so equal to me. They might as well be all equal. But I do not like summon. This at least goes fast as everyone knows what they're doing. But yeah, I do not like. Okay, and then we have opening or not really an encounter. Do you have anything from up here? I know these are not really, but I'm sure there's a couple more things that are like not really an encounter. Like hollow map's not really an encounter. No, well, you get loot at the end of it. All right, whatever. We'll just judge from these. What's the worst not really an encounter? The worst not really an encounter. I think most people are gonna say this is one of the best. The worst not really an encounter. I think most people are gonna say bog because it just takes so long. This is just over so quick. Like, but it's also like not very good because you can just skip most. Server farm. This is literally just running. If you're not doing the thing, you're just running. Delve deeper. It's fun to hit like the rings, I guess. There's at least like a little bit there. This is lower. Lower. This is just running. I mean, dropping through the tunnel thing, that's fun. But everything else is just kind of like whatever. Yeah, none of the rest of these are really that. I don't know. Rusted Gangplank, at least you're killing stuff. Delve deeper is from Eater of Worlds. Like, yeah, basically from server farm to Disciples Bog, like almost no particular order. Jumping puzzle, like, I don't know, it's short. Sure, put it towards the top. Wasteland's kind of boring. This is at least short. This is long. Waking Ruins is like fine. I actually don't mind Bog that much. I think that's where I'd. Yeah, if Root of Nightmares had a running section, again, like first couple times, it's very novel just because the environment is really cool and stuff. But after you've done it like 20, 30 times, it's just like, dude, there's so much walking. Yeah, I think this is where we'll end it. April 7th, 2023 is when we recorded this first list. So we are missing some things that I need to include, right? Here it is. We went through every single encounter. We ranked all of them. And I did go through and look at the list that we did last year. And I don't think there was really anything that I wanted to shift too much compared to what we ended up doing. So where we need to start is Ghosts of the Deep Dungeon. And then we have Crota Revamp. Then we have Warlord's Ruin. Then we have Salvation's Edge. Technically, we also have Pantheon in there. I might try and do some finagling for Pantheon, but I kind of already gave my Pantheon list, and I don't know necessarily that I want to re-rank them. And I know you guys can't read this. This is the old video. Like, don't worry about it. So, Ghosts of the Deep. Also, you see there's a couple holes in the list here. This is where Crota used to be. We'll talk about Crota in a moment. Also, I wanted to use this tier list, but the person who made this original one hasn't updated it at all. So I went into Photoshop and I made a bunch of my own because I wanted it to still look nice. I wanted it to be consistent. So I'm actually going to add some space on this side. We'll go like 1400. I'll slide that over in case we run out of space. We're going to start with Ghost of the Deep. Ghost of the Deep dungeon. The opening. I kind of want to put it in cringe. I don't really enjoy this opening. It's going either D or cringe tier. The fact that it's 4 cycles when I feel like most other things generally are 3. I know it's not 3 every time. Like the intro to Crown is 4, but that's, yeah, guess what? That's also cringe. It's a little monotonous. If it was 3, I might put it in D. But then also, like, would I rather fight against a Kalos? Or would I rather do Royal Pools? Yeah, I would. I think there's a lot of things I'd rather do other than Ghost of the Deep opening. So I'm putting it in cringe. That's just me. I don't enjoy it that much. Ekthar, I do actually enjoy a good amount, which I feel like is controversial. In a group, I think people are maybe too like solo dungeon pilled on Ekthar, because everyone's like, oh, it's so terrible, it's got so much HP, I gotta do so many cycles. This is not like solo. This is not the solo dungeon tier list. This is, you're just doing it normally. So I actually really like this encounter. Even if like 2 people, all they're doing is just slaying the F out, I think it's pretty fun. I think it's pretty fun. I don't know if it's A level fun. I'm definitely putting it at least in B. I'm going at least B tier. I think I would do like a B plus A minus type situation. For now, I'll go B. Because like, yes, you do just end up like slaying out a lot, which is not inherently the most interesting, but I still like it. I still like the encounter, so I'm putting it at B. Samuma. What do I like better? Do I like Samuma? I don't think I like Samuma more than Ekthar, but I still think it is worthy of like a B tier. It's just, it gets a little long in the tooth, but again, with 3 people, it's not that bad. And at least when I was doing this dungeon, you could one cycle Samuma. I don't know if I'm going C, right? Like, would I rather, I mean, I'd rather fight Samuma than go to the cube. I think Samuma's kind of like a low B. I think Samuma's a low B. I don't think I want to put it in the C category. I still enjoy this fight to some degree. I understand the solo implications of it. Again, this is not solo based. This is team based. So I actually rather like it. I don't like it as much as Ekthar, and it can run a little long in the tooth, but I still think it's in B. It's in the B category. It's in the B category, to me, anyway. I think it's at least in B. I don't know if I'm going A, but I'm definitely not going C. Next, we have the Crota rework. So Iriyut used to be in cringe, and I forget what was here. I think like Cross the Bridge was here. Cross the Bridge was in D, and then Crota and Enter the Abyss were higher. Looks like they were in B. Something was in B. So now we have it reworked. It's the reworked version. Enter the Abyss. It's not that much better, but it is like a little bit better compared to its counterpart. I'm still like not really the most thrilled with it, but I don't necessarily mind as much. I'm kind of going like a low C. I think I'm going to low C. It's definitely not going up into B. I don't think it's going into D tier either. I don't know. Arguments could be made for D tier. I'm gonna go low C because they did bump it up a little bit, but it's still like the appeal of the situation that you're in definitely does wear out. So I don't know. It doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot for me. It doesn't do a lot for me personally. Also, my friends tend to like mess around quite a lot in Enter the Abyss, and that annoys me. Any encounter where people can just like mess around and make the encounter take longer, IMO, it gets annoying. Crossing the bridge. Did they even really do anything that significant for crossing the bridge? I mean, they tightened up some of the rules for cross the bridge, but that's really about it. The way that people do cross the bridge now is just like very reminiscent of the D1 style, which is just like everyone gets the buff, and then you hope somebody doesn't die before they get to cross, and then everybody crosses over, and that's really about it. This encounter also really doesn't do anything for me. I think this is where it originally was, so it'd be funny if it just wound up back at D. Yeah, nothing really remarkable about the bridge. I'm sorry, there's just not. Iriyut used to be cringe, and now is getting a significant bump up. Am I going A with Iriyut? Probably not. Am I more willing to put it into the B tier? Absolutely. There's a lot more going on compared to the original version, but it is still like half people stand around and kill ads while other 3 people go do the actual thing. But there's still like the passing around of, the thing you gotta pass around. I don't know if I want to say it's like pretty firmly middle B. I'm willing to go middle B. I don't think it's an A tier encounter. I don't think it pushes up towards the higher level of these, but it's not at the lower end as well. I think I gotta put it B. It's a much more enjoyable encounter. Much more enjoyable. Crota, I think, is also gonna go B. I think I'm putting Crota B. I mean, I ran out of space. The placement is not necessarily, you know, B+, B minus. I think I'm going B because there's still just like a lot of setup that you gotta do. It takes a little while before you get to the action, but it feels like it takes a lot longer than some other things, even if it's not. And there is urgency to it, and I do like that you're kind of fighting Crota more head on, but I still don't think it's an A tier encounter. I really don't. I do not think it's an A tier encounter. Crota, like, I like Ear-Ute more than I like Crota, but I don't think it's C. Like, I don't think Crota deserves to be with the cube room. I think a cube room I should be moving lower, bro. How much I despise that place now. Yeah, I'm not really willing to put Crota any higher than B. Next, we have Warlord's Ruin. Wrathel, I mean, it's gotta be cringe. Cringe or D? I mean, I don't even know what the point of this boss is. I really don't know what the point of it is. Like, the dude just falls over. I guess it teaches you about the totem mechanic, but like, it's quick and fun. You're barely even doing anything. I would go D at like the highest. Maybe I would go C. This fight does nothing for me personally. It really doesn't. Like, it's such a nothing encounter. Like, it's irrelevant. Like, cool, there's a boss there, I guess, but just the dude just falls over. The jail mechanic's kind of funny, like throwing you in jail and you got to shoot the eyes before you die or whatever. That's kind of neat, but like the rest, this is like such a nothing fight to me. It's such a nothing fight. The ogre boss, a lot of setup to this one. It's not my favorite encounter. I respect it. It's kind of like a I don't like you, but I respect you type category. There's a lot of setup to it, I think, is what can drive me a little mad, but I appreciate how much is going on. I would go like a high C. I would go a high C or a low B. That's kind of my range. I think I'm gonna go high C. I don't know, it's relatively fun. I mean, it is kind of reminiscent, like a little bit of the Grasp of Avarice ogre boss, like familiar vibes. I'm gonna go B. I don't know, if you can get like a good cycle and teams are getting both of their things, so you don't have a lot of setup time, it's definitely a lot more enjoyable. I'll go B. Heffen. I actually really like this encounter. I do really enjoy it. Am I putting it in the A? It's a minimum high B. It's a bare minimum high B. I think I'm willing to put it into the A tier. I think I'm willing to go A tier with it. I like the movement. I like going up. I like the short damage windows followed by a longer damage window. The combat's pretty intense. You know, it can be very rewarding if you know how to really maximize how to get the maximum amount of time, right? Like, the better you are at this fight, the more you can be rewarded for being good at it. I actually really like it. I like the fight. I think I'm going A. Somewhere in the A. You know, it's definitely not like A+ or anything. Now we have Salvation's Edge. And this is tough. This is tough. Also, there wasn't really a good first encounter picture, so I'm sorry about that. This one's tough. Enjoy the first encounter, but that's because it feels very fast-paced. It always feels like there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of enemies to kill. There's always movement. It's constant movement. So even if like this encounter just kind of boils down to, yeah, you're stepping on some plates and ping-ponging and that's it, there's enough other stuff going on in the encounter that makes it feel like there's maybe more going on than there actually is. And I like that. It's not A tier, but of like the opening encounters for raids, I think it's probably one of the better ones in the game. So I think I'm going with B. Herald of Finality. This one is tough. I don't think it's an A tier. I feel like I'm gonna end up putting this entire raid in the B tier. I don't know. Like, overall grade would be somewhere in the B+ tier. Herald of Finality. I do like that
that there is a lot of player responsibility in this encounter because you have to split yourselves up, right? 1 death, fine, whatever. 2 deaths, you got some problems. 2 deaths, you got some problems, right? So there is a lot of personal responsibility in this encounter, and I like that. You can't really be bailed out too much. Fighting the boss after like seeing the pit and the call to reckoning stuff. After seeing all that stuff, I had much higher hopes for how a boss damage phase was gonna go for this boss. Like, I was a little disappointed that it just kind of came down to like you whack them with swords or whatever. I thought there was gonna be a little more to it, right? Because it's like you set up this whole arena and you gotta get in with the boss, and you know the boss is chasing you down. And when you do finally get to damage, it's like, okay, well, he hurts like a little bit, but you can still use well, and he's not really that much of a threat. Pretty much at all. So the damage phase kind of let me down there, which is why I want to keep it maybe high B. I'm okay with like a high B situation. I don't know if I'm going A. I mean, A would be like, because you can make it go kind of fast. I don't know if I'm really using that as criteria. And I know there's a lot of people saying like, oh, you should use A for S for music, whatever. I'm not really using that as criteria. So I don't think I'm willing to put it into the A tier. I really don't think I am. But I do enjoy it for the most part because of that responsibility. Third encounter, it's kind of a gimme. I'll go C. Not super remarkable, but not like offensive enough to really put into anything lower than a C. It's fine. There's still a good amount of responsibility. There's still ways to mess this up, so people got to be paying attention at least a little bit, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of nothing. It's kind of like a nothing in between type thing. Good amount of enemies to kill. There's some movement, but that's really about it. There's not that much else going on. Verity. Verity. What do we do with Verity? I don't know if I want to judge it. I don't think I can judge it on the day 1 puzzle solving experience, because you only experience that one time. Every other time after that, you're doing it. Where did we put Vault? That's what I want to know. Where did we put Vault? Hang on, what color is Riven? Riven's that color. Vault we put in B. So I do think Verity, after you have solved it, is a better Vault. It's a better Vault, right? Because Vault, once you solve the puzzle, like, there's not really that much going on in the Vault encounter. It's a lot of killing ads, it's killing knights, and it's like 2 or 3 people running around doing whatever. Verity, everyone's got to know how to do the puzzle to some degree. You have to know the mechanics. You at least have to know the Shadow Realm mechanics. You have to know that, right? So everyone's got to know what to do there. And then you got to have at least one person who knows how to do dissections. At minimum, one. Calculator or no calculator, right? Do I think it's one of the best encounters ever? Do I like it in the realm of Golgoroth, Axis, Riven, Valkaor? I think the answer to that is no, for me personally. For me personally, I'm not willing to put it up with the big dogs. I don't think I am. I'm much more willing to put it into the A tier for me personally. But this is a puzzle solving encounter. The combat is negligible, right? And we don't really have that many pure puzzle encounters. I do think, I do think that the mechanics are very clever, right? Fashion, ghost, having to spectate while dead. These are all very clever things. I'll give it that. But just for me personally, I don't think, like, would I rather do any one of these bosses, or would I rather do Verity? And I'd rather do one of these bosses. That's kind of where I'm at. And again, my A rankings right now, I don't think, I might have done like A+, A minus, or something like that. For anything that I'm adding right now, unless I explicitly say like, oh, it's an A minus or something like that, don't look into that too much. I'm willing to go A. For Verity, because there's a lot more. It is Vault 2.0 in that there's just a lot more going on, and a lot more people need to know how to do things, but it's not so simple that you can just like walk in and oh, I'm on ad clear, right? Unless you get really lucky, because 2 people can technically do that, And you can finagle like the deaths of like, oh, you don't know how to do the mechanic? Okay, jump in the hole and then hopefully somebody else gets teleported in, whatever. I think I'm going A. I will go A. And then we have the Witness. I think I'm putting Witness B. I do enjoy the encounter, but most of the time I'm actually doing a mechanic. And when you're doing the mechanic, it's a lot more engaging, right? There's a lot more stuff to pay attention to. And I understand that there are ways to like make it so everyone gets involved in doing said mechanic. In fact, you kind of have to do that for the challenge. But the fact that this fight can be a sort of like I'm on ad clear situation, I don't feel like does the Witness justice. Like I wish there was even more stuff going on in the Witness encounter so that there weren't people just standing around doing ad clear. And even like if you are on ad clear, like it's not that exciting. Like the fact that some people struggle with ad clear on the Witness to me is mind boggling. There is not that much going on in the Witness, and I still feel like I see like constant enemies everywhere. Like if Screeves are coming up the stairs on the Witness, someone messed up. Somebody messed up. I don't think I'm willing to go higher than B for the Witness. I don't think I am. It's A if you actually get to do something. And I will say, like, I'll go like more towards the middle. The DPS part of the Witness is super, super engaging and fun. So I'd give it a few points for the DPS phase. But the setup, I don't know. When the fact that like 3 people can just be on ad clear, even 4 people really could just be on ad clear, kind of takes some of the weight out of the experience to me. That's just me. I do like Salvation's Edge as a whole. I mean, look, with 4 of the 5 encounters are B or higher, right? It's a sign of like a pretty good raid. Plus, like the raid itself, the scale, the platforming, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's pretty enjoyable, right? It's like the one place where I actually don't mind all the platforming because it feels like more of a part of the raid as opposed to just like a way to get from point A to point B. Like it's part of the experience versus some other things where it's like, this doesn't really feel part of the experience. This just feels like we're trying to get to the next place. So yeah, I think this is going to be my list. So to recap, because I want to go back and watch some more of my original tier list. Top 4, Golgoroth, Axis, Riven, Valkaor. These are my top 4 raid encounters of all time in the Light and Darkness era of the game, going back to D1. Those are my top 4. These are my favorite encounters. Axis with the challenge mode, one of the best challenge modes we've ever gotten, because it actually adds in a mechanic that you need to interact with, and you need to be, you know, pretty good at it in order to get it done. Riven was just like a really fun encounter. I thought Golgoroth was one of the closest times, or one of the few times we got really close to an MMO style boss fight. And then Valkaor just had a lot of mechanics going on. Everyone needs to really know what to do, and was also very lethal. And you couldn't really cheese Valkaor, which a lot of people hated. And I tend to use as an example of like, you know, when people ask for more mechanics in things, I was like, okay, well, everyone, guess what? We did the mechanics thing and everybody hated it because you couldn't cheat. What's number 1 all time? Number 1 all time. That's tough. I kind of want to lean towards Golgi. I want to lean towards Axis. I think I got to go Golgi. I think Golgi's number 1. It's such a satisfying fight to execute on any difficulty. It's so satisfying. I gotta go Golgi. And we'll scroll through the rest. Here we go. I know some of them are cut off. There we go. That is my entire Light and Darkness tier list for raid and dungeon encounters. That's all of them. Thanks for watching. See you next time.